What's good, Yugi Tubers? NeoNexudus here, bringing you a video with the one and only DarknessL1989.
Hey everyone.
As you all probably know, and we've all probably seen it by now, we have the ban list out, effective August 29th, 2016. And these are just our thoughts on it, really. So let's just go through the list first, and then we can discuss bits and pieces in between. So Perform Power Monkey Board is banned. Then we got not Heavy Storm, but Kaiser Colosseum. That's banned. They're the only two banned cards. Then we got Ether the Heavenly Monarch. We have Cosmo Dark Destroyer or Cosmo Dank Destroyer. And Magispector Unicorn Kirin. They're all limited, along with Beatrice Lady of the Eternal, E-Telly, Pantheism of the Monarchs, Pendulum Call, and I missed one. There we go. Sir, Melbranch of the Burning Abyss. Okay, so that's all our limits at 1. Then semi-limited, we got Maxi, Thunder King Ryo, and Wind Up Magician. And then finally, Thousand Eyes Restrict as unlimited, along with Allura Dankness and Gold Sarko. So, going back to the very first thing, Monkey Board banned. Now, personally, I saw this coming ever since they limited the damn thing. Where is it? There we are. Monkey Board. Yeah, I saw this ever since they limited it, quite frankly. What do you think, Luke?
Personally, I agree with it being banned for what it is. It having a card in the game that's a 1-card scale is very, very strong. And it's just one of those things where it's following suit of the OCG Forbidden Limited cards, where it's been banned in Japan for a little while now. We had a little bit of extension on it to get the benefit out of it because we had it later than Japan. But overall, it's done what it needs to do. It made a good appearance at Euros and US Nationals and Worlds, and the fact the whole deck, well, basically that was a main key point of the winning deck for European Championships to make it through. I think
was Monkey Board even legal for Worlds?
I believe it was, but just in general, the fact that Monkey Board is just, again, one of those cards where it has its rank 6 options. If you pendulum summon it on that rare occasion, you make Utopia Beyond. And just in general, the fact you can just get a free search, not even on activations. Basically, you can just obviously search other things first or draw some cards and just get your key component when you need to. And the fact that you can just search a Stratos straight away, so you're definitely by 2 cards just from the Monkey Board alone, which is incredible.
Yeah. See, I was very much on the fence about Monkey Board. I've always defended Monkey Board because I was one of the first Pendulum players.
Yeah.
When they first started coming out. Obviously, I didn't play Pendulums when they first came out, and we got Cleefort. I don't really class Cleefort as a Pendulum deck. Not really, anyway. Pendulum decks to me are things like Pendulum Magicians, Metal Foes, Pepe, blah, 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 blah. And because I was right on that Pepe bandwagon, I always defended Monkey Board, saying that this is what Pendulums need to compete, because obviously, if you go first, you open 5 cards. 2 of those cards have got to be your scales, so you're left with 3. And then with those 3 cards, you've got to make a board, which back in the early days of Pendulums was quite hard.
Exactly.
Bosch, making a board was quite hard. And then we got Monkey Board, and we got Pendulum Sorcerer and Gi Turtle, and so many good cards came out of Bosch.
Well, exactly, and I think also the fact being, it's just the fact it's a really good scale 1, obviously, to complement the Performer Power in your Pendulum scale. Otherwise, it's a scale 4. But also, you got to remember as well the fact you can also search it off a first turn Old Eyes in the Pendulum scale. So so not only you're going through Old Eyes, then you're searching for the Monkey Board, and then Monkey Ball in turn gets you the Joker, and then the Joker in turn gets you your other target. So it's just a really interesting card. The fact you can just do so much in one go with it.
I mean, like, if they've restricted Monkey Board to say you can only activate this effect once per turn, which wasn't even on Monkey Board, I don't think. It would have been a lot fairer, and I reckon it could have stayed at 1.
I think if it was the same wording as, per se, I don't know, like Global or Zephyrs, where it's only like once per that actual game, then fair enough.
Once per game.
I think that would have been a lot fairer. But I agree. The fact that card was at 3 at one point is absurd.
3 Monkey Board, 3 Sorcerer, 3 Joker.
Well, technically that YCS Atlanta. Well, we got to remember as well, the weekend Bosch was first legal for YCS Atlanta. 29 of the top 32 decks was Pepe, so they realised how they messed up. So.
I mean, like, I don't know. Because, like, we understood why Plush Buy needed to be hit. That shit was crazy.
Oh, of course, yeah. Obviously, that card had the wording, the way that it was worded and ruled on the card was absurd.
Like, but Monkey Board, I still don't think it needed to be hit. Like, it was a good card, and it enabled plays, but I don't think it was that good of a card to be outright banned. Like, 1 Monkey Board, 1 Joker. I think the deck was quite balanced. Without Monkey Board, and with only 1 Joker, I mean, yeah, we had 3 Pendulum Sorcerer, but that's kind of like whatever, really, because, you know, I don't know, I just feel like the deck's lost consistency now, and it struggled for consistency. Like, you would open your brick hands. And we saw how much the deck struggled to compete, like, after the emergency ban list, and then again in the April ban list, like when we got Monkey Ball to 1, Luster to 1, Ignister to 1, like everything just went to 1, and it was just like, well, we just lost a lot of our power cards. Like, Pendulum struggled to face against Cosmos because we only had the 1 Ignister.
I think it's one of those sort of downfall moments when Konami don't realise, we'll make this card, it seems to be good for what it does, but then it just, again, like we said a few times in other videos, it just takes one person just to create a really strong build, and then to utilise so much more potential than its initial creation.
Yeah, I think they invented it with good intentions, but we as a player base, we take something good and we turn it into something broken.
I mean, hey, any deck that can search out a 3 Stratos is always good.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest problem with Pendulums getting off the ground was the fact that it did cost you 2 cards to get you Scales.
Yeah.
And to do anything, you had to have your Scales. And Monkey Ball was just one of those cards that the deck kind of needed. Yes, it was a 1-card Scale, and people say that was too good. But what they don't realise is, like, when they needed something like that. They needed something big like that for Pendulums to give them the push, to give them first turn plays and stuff.
I think what's going to happen going forward is the fact, obviously, yes, we'll get to a certain card that's just recently become limited in the video, but I think the fact that you still got 3 Pit, 3 Magician, Sky Iris is still a really strong card for the deck, which didn't get touched. Sky Iris
helps out a lot, but you're still
Sky Iris,
sort of
for what Sky Iris does,
negging 1 to play Sky Iris. You play Sky Iris out your hand, you're 1 card down, and then you have to destroy a pre-existing face-up card.
I think things with Sky Iris, it's a very... I personally like the card. I think it creates a lot of advantage because the fact it protects your Scales, it can search you and odd-eyes cards, not just monster cards, so you can get things like odd-eyes fusion, etc, etc. And obviously it complements self-destructing effects, because obviously you had things like Guard the area, and there you've got, say, you can switch off emptiness and stuff like that, and obviously the Metalfoe cards being a thing, so you can flip up the combination, pop that for Iris, search that, and then get your search off. Skyris is really strong card for itself, and I personally think they should have limited it for what it does, but the fact that it's still at 3 is still crazy to think because
But I think it
Iris
just
wins
enables the
games.
deck to still be played, because if we
Oh yeah,
had
I
Dusk
definitely
Iris,
agree.
no monkey board, some
Yeah,
people argue that Joker should have been banned, and I'm just like, are you on crack?
I don't think it should have been banned, but I do agree at 1 it is fine. It doesn't. It can go at 3 when the format cools down a bit, but at the moment 1's fine.
Mm. So that's our little rant about monkey board.
This is gonna be a long video,
Let's
isn't it?
move on, because we don't want to spend all night on monkey board.
Yeah, and I want to put the kettle on in a bit.
Kaiser Coliseum. Now, no one saw this coming. I mean, like, it was probably one of the most obscure hits in recent times that Konami's ever done. Like, do you remember a few years back when Upper Deck used to run Yu-Gi-Oh! And they used to give us, like, explanations of why stuff got hit?
Yeah, I remember the days of metagame.com. That was good.
Yeah, like, we used to get information of why cards got hit and why things happened when they happened. Like, Konami nowadays don't do that. Yeah, we get live streams, which is awesome. Like, don't take our live streams away. God damn it, please don't take our live streams.
Of course.
But, like, a bit more player interaction would be nice. I know Julia Hedberg does a lot, but, like, they need a personal relations person. They need a PR person, really. Someone to just out there speak with the public.
I think
so. Like Kaiser Coliseum, we need some kind of explanation. It's just like that little soundbite that Desire Enigma does. It's like, Konami, you got some explaining to do.
I think I was reading some feedback on, because I'm part of one of the judge groups on social media, and there was a lot of like this. Apparently, Kaiser Coliseum was one of those cards where judges would get asked a lot of rulings regarding it, and from the way the card's been worded and ruled, it would cause so many arguments. And I think it's one of those sort of, I can't remember the full details of it, but a couple of judges were saying how many, like, there was a lot of disputes and issues regarding rulings on how you would rule the actual card itself. So I think taking that on board, and I think again, they kind of think it's a floodgate card, because obviously, you know, you can't control more cards than your opponent does. So essentially, if you make like a big board of like an alternative and something else, drop Kaiser Coliseum. This is just in hindsight. It doesn't say you have red and blue or white, but anyway. And basically, you sort of play around that, because if you like example set has a Spirit Dragon and alternative of Kaiser Coliseum with like back row, it can limit to what you want to do, because it's a control card, but at the same time it's a double-edged sword, because obviously once you get rid of their board, it works in your opponent's also. It's a very weird one they've done, but again, it's always a regular thing now with Banlist, where there's always that one or two cards you kind of feel like a bit different, but hey, we just have to deal with it for now. And honestly, I completely forgot Kaiser Coliseum being a card. The last time I saw it play was in Bujin format.
I was actually citing it at CCG with my Cleefort Demise, and I forgot to read it properly, and I played it against someone playing Blue Eyes, and I thought because I controlled one monster and they controlled like two, it worked like rivalry and they had to get rid of one of them. But when I read it says it doesn't affect monsters currently on the field. I'm like, shit.
Yeah. It's a weird one, because again, that's not a bad shout for Klee actually, but I think it was a problematic card in Bujin format, because it literally was.
Oh my god! Don't get me started. Bujin, fucking Yamato, with Hair in Graveyard and bloody Crane not honest in hand, with Raw Decree face up, and it's just like, what the fuck can I do?
I think in that scenario, the Bujin, that particular build of Bujin was definitely a protect the castle deck. So,
oh yeah,
in the nicest possible way.
I fucking hated Bujin.
It was okay. I didn't really struggle that much against it. I just wasn't a fan of the way it was designed. But hey, everyone's got their own personal preference to what they want to play, so that's fine. I'll just play something I want to play instead.
I had fun playing Kaiser Coliseum in battling boxers. Sit on the lead yoke.
Yeah, that was quite.
With a counter punch in hand and Kaiser Coliseum, it's just like have fun.
It would be pretty cool. I know we're going to be off topic here, but I think if they were to give battling boxers some more support, I would be up for it.
Oh yeah, like battling boxers could have been so good had they received like support. Like by the time we received like battling boxers Spirit and Shadow and things like that, it was far too late. If we'd got that stuff all at the same time, battling boxers probably alright, they may not have been tier 1, but there would have been a very strong tier 2 deck.
It was quite amusing actually. I remember the first time battling boxers first came out, and there was another big deck at the time. I can't remember what the format was, but basically it was round 2, and I kid you not, our locals had a battling boxer mirror match. It was the most hilarious thing. It was
I
like
actually got, what was it? I won the bronze qualifier or the silver qualifier at my locals with battling boxers against Mermail.
Yeah, I remember helping you with their list for that. Actually, that was quite cool. Actually,
yeah, just like it was so good. Like I didn't expect to get that far with it, and then like oh shit, I'm on the bubble for a top here, and I get it. Just because I outlast Mermail with Lead Joke.
Well, things that Lead Joke is one of those cards where okay, fair enough. You've got Kaijus now, whatever. But at the time, it was one of those sort of cards where it had to force out a lot of power cards, and I like that.
Yeah. I mean, like a D Prison would get rid of it, but it was about one of the only things that could. D Prison, Compulse. There weren't many cards that could get rid of it.
It did make me giggle.
It had to force out its protection ability, but then it got stronger.
I still remember someone using Tempo on Lead Joke. I was like, yeah, that's fine. It helps me out.
Yeah, because I believe Lead Joke just says when a material's detached, it gains attack.
For a card effect, not a cost. So yeah, it would basically Tempo would just trigger it to go up.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, what's limited?
Getting back on topic. Our next card we're talking about is Sir of the Burning Abyss.
Long time coming, and to be honest, you only need to resolve the one Sir, and you're in a good spot.
Yeah, like you said to me earlier, the Sir Dante loop is still there. Yeah, you can't go. Yes, you don't have the double Sir Dante play, but you still got like Sir Dante, and like all they need is one Sir to trigger, and they're just legit.
Well, there is that.
And they still have like 3 Farfa, which is fucking annoying.
Well, you gotta remember you got one Graph, one Seer now. You've got 3 Farfa, 3 Skarm, and
it didn't Skarm get hit?
No, Skarm's still at 3.
It's just like, oh, I'm randomly gonna mill a fucking Farfa and banish your shit.
Yeah.
Or like when they had 3 Beatrice, they would go make Beatrice. In my turn, detach a material, trigger that BA effect. Oh, and by the way, I'm sending a Farfa to banish, and then into your turn, I'm going to detach another material, send another Farfa to the graveyard, and banish something else whilst triggering the other BA that I detached. It's like, fucking hell!
It is still strong.
Farfa's...
I think once we've gone
Farfa
through...
needs to get hit.
It's just Dante, man. I know we've obviously said what's actually limited, whatever, but I personally think they should hit Dante over Beatrice. But hey, that's an argument for another video. So
everyone knows Dante should have been hit. Beatrice was technically fine at 3, because the only way you'd go into it is like rank 6s, like through level 6s. I mean, to make the rank 6, and with one Dante, they could only make one Beatrice.
And if you get rid of that Dante, then obviously that's 3 Beatrices dead in the deck, or 2, or what you want to do with it.
Plus the fusion.
Yeah.
Which they had no absolute business making off of fucking Beatrice anyway. Like, not only does it send any card to the graveyard, but it also replaces itself.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm actually glad Beatrice got hit, in all honesty, but at the same time, I think if they killed Beatrice and Dante, it would have been overkill, so I guess they had to go one or the other.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to Aether, the Heavenly Monarch.
Yes.
Now, this card, this shit right here,
yeah, it's
had to go.
I think I think it's the fact the fact you can tribute someone on your opponent's turn with this card by tributing. Well, you can do it by double tribute, or obviously the whole
reveal
tribute. So
down.
Yeah, but I think I would have preferred Aeroburst myself, but at the same time, I do actually agree in the long run, Effort was the better choice because obviously
because if they'd hit
it does more.
All their offensive power would have gone.
Plus, there were some scenarios in one of the matches at Worlds where the guy was running Aether and he resolved it against a BA PK deck, and he dropped Dark Simorg, so the guy couldn't play, and so I was like, that's not a bad shout. But yeah, I think overall Aether won. Yeah, obviously most are taking a huge hit overall, but I think at the same time, leaving Erebus obviously gives it a bit more, still gives it some kind of fighting power. Because you got.
Even if Erebus is really fucking annoying and they make it first fucking turn and take a card out your hand.
Yeah, I think. Well, when we get to a certain card on the list later on, I'll basically know a card's going to replace it straight off the bat when we get it in the TCG.
But Aether was just definitely one of those cards that
it's
had no business being as powerful as it was. The ability to also be summoned during the opponent's turn to summon a Kuraz, and then Kuraz would pop 2. And it's just like, combined with Stormforth, you would be losing like 3 cards in your turn. It's just like, well, fucking hell, lube me up. Because you're fucking me pretty hard right now. Okay, getting off of that, because like Aether just fucks with everyone all day long. Another card that fucks with people all day long, Cosmo Dark Destroyer, a 3k attacker that wasn't targetable, and then once it died, it could replace itself with a lower level ship. Like, I fail to see the downside.
Dark Destroyer was in itself one of those cards again where the design on the card is strong, and again I don't think they really thought through. Obviously, can't get over untargetable.
See, the card would have been fine. The fact that it can blow something up, it can replace itself, and it's 3k, it would have been fine. It was targetable.
Yeah, and also the fact you can pop itself to get more plays going is ridiculous, because there were some situations where
started on that. It is ridiculous.
I mean, it's one of those sort of decks where I played it. Yeah, I can see why the deck's good and this card is strong, but Cosmo fell off the map so much after a while. I was getting to the point where I didn't think they were going to hit it at all, the whole deck. But I'm actually glad I did, because obviously they would have thought, oh wait, didn't hit this deck at all, Cosmo's going to be one of the stronger contenders in this format, which would have been.
I am so glad that they hit Cosmo. Because all these targeting cards they brought out, or are going to be bringing out, everyone's just sort of like, why are they saying targeting? Why are they saying targeting? Like, targeting was slowly being phased out of the game recently, and now we know why they're bringing back targeting, because they're getting rid of the Dark Destroyer. Dark Destroyer was just such a horrible card. Then we got another somewhat horrible card, but to my opinion, a lesser extent. Matches back to Unicorn Kieran.
Yep. Basically, playing the card, it's just the mechanic in itself is ridiculous. About you can just target itself and bounce one card. So one
Yeah,
monster they
because most
control
expectors
on
say they
either
can't be
player's
targeted by
turn
the
is too
opponent's card
strong
effects.
or destroyed.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically,
So they're all mini Dark Destroyers.
yeah, and the fact that you can just it's a scale 2, it's 2,000 wall.
Being a level 6 enabled rank 6 plays.
It's just the whole compulse option on either player's turn was just ridiculous, and the fact you could even bounce things like Joker, Raccoon, Sorcerer, and etc. etc.
It was a big combo enabler.
Yeah, and the fact you can search it for free off one resolving Raccoon effect is really good as well. I think.
Yeah, people were running what 3 Raccoon, 3 Kieran.
Yeah, I believe so. Or sometimes they'll run 2 Raccoon, 3 Kieran, because obviously they felt that 3 Raccoon was a bit excessive, which I can understand to agree. You only need to resolve the one.
True.
I think in general, even with Kieran at 1, it's still a threat and it's still going to be viable, but you just can't splash into it as much. So you can't do the whole Luster, Kieran, add Kieran, so you've got obviously 2 Kierans live. So that option's gone now, which is fine, because that play was very, very strong.
Yeah.
I think there's not much to be said about Kieran. Kieran was either going to be one of those cards, but it had to get limited. At one point, I thought it was going to get banned because the card, again, how strong the card is. It could have easily been worse.
Okay. So moving on, we got E-Telly. Now I'm quite glad that they hit E-Telly. I mean, I'm a big advocate of E-Telly. I've always liked it. Like back when I used to play zombies and such, I always liked playing Emergency Teleport to get into my Commander, my Krebons, to synchro my Goblin Zombies, etc. But I'm quite glad it's gone at 1 because it just hurts Cosmo a bit more. I don't know if Metal Foes were using E-Telly, but it sort of prevents them from, abusing the card a bit. As well as it just sort of curbs any future psychic support so that it's not like one card instant freaking nutty combos.
I think I was talking about this with a couple of people about Teleport. They reckon now just stay at 2. But it was a good shout because it hits Cosmo and does in turn hit those who are running in Mutfos as well, because obviously you can do obviously battle phase plays with it. You can just summon up another lower level Metafo for free.
Yeah.
For your Metafo's fusion plays.
I remember when people were running E-Telly in Monarchs with Blue Layer.
Yeah, that being a thing as well.
Yeah, because that was literally the definition of abusing E-Telly. Like going E-Telly for Blue Layer, tributing Blue Layer for a Monarch, Blue Layer shuffling itself back into the deck, and then being able to play E-Telly again to get it out of the deck.
Yeah, exactly.
So now we've only got 1 E-Telly, which is good. For the time being, I think E-Telly should stay limited. I don't think it's ban worthy at all, but it's definitely limit worthy. Plus the fact of Tin Can Turbo, summon Tin Can, set everything, play card demise, set some more shit. Then during the opponent's end phase, you can play E-Telly for another Tin Can, activate Tin Can effects, and all that nutty shit. I think by hitting E-Telly, it's their indirect hit to Tin Can, because if they'd hit Tin Can, I think the deck would have been a lot more worse for wear than it is at the moment.
Yeah, very true.
And being a TCG exclusive archetype, because the OCG are yet to have Cosmo, I don't think that they want to completely kill the deck before the OCG get it.
Yeah. I think, again, Teleport's one of those sort of cards where it goes from 1 to 2 to 3, then back to 2, then vice versa. It's kind of like the spell version of Chaos Sorcerer.
Yeah.
in that respect.
Yeah. We've already really talked about Beatrice, so we're not going to go there again.
Nah,
That was sort of covered in the BA discussion. Pantheism of the monarchs. Now,
abs-
me and you were very divided on our opinions of this.
yeah,
I said that pantheism shouldn't be touched because it's their consistency card, and they should hit other cards, e.g. Stormforth. Domain was my big one because I've always had a problem with Domain. The fact that it just locks you out the extra deck if
yeah,
you
of
ever treat it
course.
as a monster. There were so many other, like, even Tenacity. I reckon Tenacity should have possibly been hit. I mean, I know you can only play one Tenacity per turn, but the ability to search anything out, Pantheism is just a consistency card. Like, if you Panth into the one Tenacity, that's fine. But the fact that you can have 3 Tenacity to search your one Pantheism, it's a bit hit or miss. I think like your probability of drawing it is a lot less than drawing into a Tenacity to search the Pantheism, if you know what I mean.
I think
Now, carry on.
with Pantheism, the minute I read that card, it instantly screamed, "This card creates too much damage when good." Because the fact, obviously, you discard the 2, so you basically just replenish your hand for the 2 cards you just used for that. So they discard the cost and actually activate the card. But the fact it's not limited to once per turn, and also being, it can obviously you can banish it from the graveyard once per turn to reveal pretty much. Well, you can do it first. In fact, you can search 3 of the same card if need be, or it's Pantheism is really strong because the fact you can obviously draw for 2 new cards and potentially go in for a third from the add effect.
Yeah.
Any card that can go is near enough like a +1 or +2. How the way you want to like word it or like do the numbers. I think Pantheism was unhealthy because of the fact you can just do very power plays with it, and that fact also Pantheism was used in Exodi decks as well, because all you have to do is just obviously run like a mini Monarch engine, and Pantheism can be thrown in there.
Yeah.
I think in general Pantheism was a very unhealthy card for the game. Yes, obviously still won. You can still run it, but obviously
you can still search it off Tenacity.
But obviously you just can't have a regular consistency of it. Yeah, so essentially you can only get the one shot at it, which is fine, unless obviously you've got Eda, and obviously Eda can add it back. But
yeah,
I think in general the card is unhealthy for what it is, and even if you like example Pantheism ditch the cost, they chain Dweller. Yeah, that's fine. You can just do it the next turn and just carry on as normal. I think again the card's just very unhealthy.
What about Pendulum Call?
Pendulum Call, again following the suit of the OCG. The fact again it's got a built-in Sky Iris effect. It's searches like essentially two different named magician cards. That's why you just got a one set of scales. You can go for Pit and Pulse.
But essentially, it's only a 1-for-1 card because you discard one card and use Pendulum Call to get 2 monsters to your hand, and you could only activate 1 Pendulum Call per turn. So if you drew multiples, you couldn't activate them.
And the fact, well, no, that's fine. But I think it was more
I think Pendulum Call, in my opinion, was the definition of a fair card. Like, you didn't plus off it. You got the exact amount of cards that you used back, and it was only once per turn. And then after people started playing Pepe and stuff, we just stopped playing Pendulum Call because we weren't playing the Magicians anymore. So, in my opinion, it's a bit strange because, like, Wisdom Eye is still at 1, which I think is unnecessary, and Pendulum Call is now at 1. Like, when was the last time Magicians really were that big of a threat? I would say pre-Bosch.
Yeah, I think I think it's just one of those things where, again, where we finally gradually follow sort of the OCG structure. What was the whole monkey ball being banned and pendulum call to one? Because they've had pendulum call to one for a little while now. Because they realize how powerful the card is for creating so much advantage. But I do agree, it's not used as much as the other Draco engines. But if, for example, Monkey Ball was banned and they left Pendulum Core free, it pretty much would have just been okay, Monkey Ball banned, done. We'll just have run free Pendulum Core now, so it didn't really affect them. They've in theory lost one card and gained an additional two because they'll just run free Pendulum Call.
I suppose they could, but it's iffy. Moving on to the Monarch Stormforth, I think this card should have been hit a long time ago. Like, I was at YCS London about 2-3 years ago, and Battery Men abused the fuck out of this with me.
Well, it's just the fact that we've had this card since Dante and Satellas and Shadow's came out. This card's been around for a very long time, and the fact it has a non-targetable effect, you don't have to do it directly to the activation. Just do it any time in the turn. The card was unhealthy. I think
the fact it enabled Ether to tribute summon during your turn was disgusting.
Yeah. Well, it's just the whole Ether chain Stormforth, so you can just go banish your Monarch Sponge off from grave, fill Ether, chain Stormforth resolves, Ether resolves, tribute your Prime Monarch, tribute their out monster, and then make a push with Ether.
Yeah.
It's just so strong.
But I think it's good at 1. Like, it's a nice one-off, but I don't think it needed to be a 3.
It was a long time coming. This card was going to get hit regardless, and I think after seeing it do well in a lot of high-scale events, they know that. I think they realised it was its time to be limited. So
they also had to hit other things in order to hit Stormforth, because if they'd just hit Stormforth and left things, say, like Dark Destroyer and Kieran around, it could have caused problems, because obviously you no longer have your quote-unquote out card to that, because obviously they wouldn't know when you're going to tribute, so obviously they would have to either try and pre-activate their effects, like in chain or something, so that they could like try and play around the Stormforth. Otherwise their stuff would just be tributed off. Like, nice Dark Destroyer, I'm just going to play Stormforth and tribute it.
Well, I mean, I was
trigger Dark Destroyer's effect.
Yeah, I mean, for a while when I was running Cosmos, I was running a build where I main deck Stormforth, because obviously you've got things like your Slip Rider, your Dark Lady, and obviously Forerunner and Dark Destroyer. I liked it as an out against like the mirror match as well, because it just tributes them and doesn't trigger their monsters. Exactly. So in that sense, it was an unfair advantage, because of some situations where you can go Stormforth, tribute their BA or whatever, drop Majesty's Fiend. Stormforth Majesty's Fiend against BA is quite a
revolting.
strong move against them, and creates a lot of advantage. There was a scenario once where I was siding Stormforth and Majesty's Fiend against BA. I resolved the Stormforth, tributed there because Dante or Beatrice, one of the two, dropped Majesty's Fiend, and then dropped Raigeki, and it was complete out. He literally lost all his monster advantage, and in that sense, all because of the one Stormforth.
Yeah.
It was just crazy. Yeah, you could argue, obviously, I could attribute it to my monsters, but the fact Stormforth is basically a free out, distributing their stuff for your stuff is, pretty strong. And the card I was going to mention earlier, even with Stormforth at 1, that's fine, because there's a card coming out called Tribute Burial, where basically the wording is you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn after activation. When you tribute summon a tribute monster, you can banish one monster in your graveyard and one monster in your opponent's graveyard and tribute summon.
Oh, so yeah, basically I remember that. Is it a trap?
It's a spell.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah, so when we get that, we'll have 3 of them and Stormforth. So, you know,
Ugh. Ugh. Um,
yeah. But I don't know when we're getting that card, but just I reckon we'll get it at some point. But we just got to bear that in mind.
yeah.
With Stormforth 1, fine, but we'll have just that to replace it. So,
Yeah. Okay, Max C. Now, this is a weird hit. Like, Cap G had an interesting point. I know you personally aren't a fan of Cap G, but he had an interesting point that Konami doesn't like things being a 3 of staple in some decks. Like, you know, when we had 3 Compulse, we had 3 Book of Moon, 3 Bottomless, things like that. You know, instant 3 ofs, 3 Upside Goblin, 3 Chicken Game. They like getting rid of the 3 of staples. Like, if you remember back when we used to main deck triple MST, they limited the fucker.
yeah.
So, like, maybe this is just Konami's way of saying, don't play 3 of this in every fucking deck. You can only play 2. Which obviously affects the draw ratio that you're going to see it in your opening hand. Which,
Yeah, I think
Maxi's
it's
a
gonna.
defensive card. It's never really an aggressive. It just makes your opponent either go off and they kill you that turn, or you're just going to gain mass advantage.
I think it's gonna be one of those things as well, where it's gonna decide how people are gonna go first and second. Because with 2 Maxi now, yes, you still got 2, but I think it going to 2 instead of losing with Maxi did hurt it a bit, but at the same time, it could have just gone straight up go to 1, but it didn't. So
Yeah.
it's fine. Losing 1 Maxi, yeah, it does hurt, but it doesn't hurt as much as it could have done.
Do you think that people are now going to staple Maxi as a 2 of in their decks?
I personally would the way I view Maxi is I was running a 2 in the main deck for Pendulum anyway, because it's one of the cards where I would like to see it. I always seem to side it in game 2, so I thought, okay, I'll just main deck it, it's so much easier. Plus, it's one of those cards where if you know it's a bad matchup, it's an easy side up for 2 other cards. I think because Maxi is one of those cards where, again, it's an easy side up card, and if it's not a good matchup, take it out. If it's a good matchup, go there for game 1.
I suppose. Thunder King Ryo, like, how long has this card been at 1?
I want to say quite a while now, and I'm just glad it's actually at 2 because
I feel
again,
like Thunder King's been power crept enough so that it's not irrelevant. I mean, it's still a very good card, but obviously it's been power crept to the point where it's not such a game-breaking card. Like Summon Thunder King set 5.
no, of
Mind
course.
you might still be able to do that in Demise.
Well, depends on the build, but yeah, I think Thunder King is a weird one because obviously, prevents both players from adding cards. Fine. It can kill off 1 inherent special summon. That's fine because a lot of decks at the time were obviously something more than 1, so Thunder King can't trigger.
Exactly. Like, in a previous version of this video that I made that the audio didn't record, I mentioned that Thunder King is like Black Horn, and it's been ruled that he negates 1 inherent summon. It can't negate like a 5-card pendulum summon.
Oh no, because if it could do that, then obviously, yeah, Thunder King would not be at 2 right now.
Oh no, it would be 1 or banned.
Yeah. So that's fine. I don't know. I think Thunder King 2 is going to be interesting because obviously, yeah, it's still a 1900 beat stick for level
that
4.
You can drop honest on.
Yeah, and the fact also, you have to do that.
I remember the days where you used to go Thunder King set 5, the opponent attacks, damage step, Forbidden Lance, your monster.
Yeah, but the thing is, I used to run Thunder King in my GBs when my first regional winning deck was running GBs with main deck Thunder King, and at the time Thunder King was really good because obviously you had things like triple Dark Armor to 3, yada yada yada. But you look at the format now, it's not always inherent summoning. So obviously, Thunder
Yeah, a lot of
King
it's through other card
is not.
effects.
Yeah. So essentially, Thunder King, yeah, it's still a threat, but not so much
But
now
it's
because there's
not
too
a
many.
bigger threat as it used to be.
It's not yeah. So
Okay. Wind Up Magician. Now, I'm really happy about this because I've wanted
yeah.
Wind Ups to come back for the longest time ever. Just as an Xyz, just as a fun Xyz spam deck. Like, we don't, like, what was it? When Wind Ups first came out, I think we had Lavarvo Chain, we had Shockmaster, we had a lot of disgusting Xyz. They're all gone now. Like, there's no reason that Wind Ups can't come back. Like, to technically full power, bar obviously things like their support cards, e.g. Pot of Avarice, etc. But like with Pot of Avarice gone, the big problem Exceeds are now gone, and like I think Wind-Ups can just come back. Like we can have 3 Magician, we can have 3 Shark, 3 Rat, 3 Rabbit, blah 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 blah. We can even technically have 3 Boat, but what they need to get rid of is fucking Hunter. That has always been the problem, and the OCG saw that years ago. They got rid of Hunter, and the deck is pretty much, I think, in the OCG almost back at full power.
Someone made a fair point the other day. The fact you can make Wind Up BA as well, because you just overlay 2 BAs to make Zam Mighty and start doing stuff like that. Because the fact that Zam Mighty is just 2 level 3s.
You mean Zemayo, yeah?
No, Zam Mighty the boat.
Yeah, Zemayo.
That's Zam Mighty.
No, wait, Zenmighty, yes, sorry, Zemayo's the rank 5.
Yeah, Zam Mighty's the rank 5 machine.
Yeah, but Zemighty, like, I want Zemighty back so much.
All they need to do, ban Hunter, Zam Mighty can come back. That's all they need to do.
Yeah, like,
They can
test the water with, like, 3 Magician and 1 Zemighty, or even 2 Magician, 1 Zemighty. But just give us Zemighty back, like, please. Please, Konami. Please.
Not asking for much.
Next ban list, I'm predicting either Boat comes back to 1, or Magician goes to 3, or both.
Yeah. I think
so yeah,
Magician 3 would be quite funny, actually.
Yeah.
Because Magician, Reveal, Shark, those are the days.
Yeah. And then finally, we got our Unlimits, Thousand Eyes Restrict, Allure Darkness, and God's Sarcophagus. I think Thousand Eyes Restrict was too much hype, not enough power. Like, when it came back from ban to 1, people immediately started buying them up, thinking, oh my god, Thousand Eyes Restrict is so broken with instant fusion. But then they kind of forgot that, yeah, you can pay 1,000 for it. Yeah, you can steal your opponent's monster. But 1, it targets, which was a bad thing at the time. And 2, it prevents any other monster from attacking, apart from itself. But through instant fusion's effect, it can't attack anyway. So it was like, instant fusion, Thousand Eyes, absorb your monster, pass turn, Thousand Eyes blows up, and so does your monster.
Yep.
So, like, I think Thousand Eyes is just irrelevant. It is long since been power crept.
Yeah, I think it's got to the point where it's been out crept, to be fair, because, like you say, it's so much to laugh. The minute they announced that the new wording says it targets, one guy I know, we've got asked for a refund of 17,000 Eyes Restricts, and his message to the seller was, I didn't realise that it targets. So I was like, well, right, okay.
I
proceeded to...
Sorry, carry on.
No, I was going to say, I proceeded to just move away from that conversation and just carried on as normal.
Yeah. Allure Dankness, this is highly relevant, especially with Dark Lords incoming, and DDDs incoming, like, beginning of next year.
Yep.
And with BA still being a deck. Like, 2 fucking years running, Konami. 2. For fuck's sakes. Like, no other tier 1 deck has survived this long. It took them about a year to sort out Necros.
Yep.
and yet BA are allowed for 2 years. Actually, by the time we get another ban list, it'll be about 2.5 years. That's just ridiculous. So, like, Allure Darkness, whilst BA is still a deck, I think is absolutely disgusting. What's your thoughts?
I think Allure 3 should be quite amusing. Yeah, it's about, well, didn't do anything at 2, so maybe it'd just be fine at 3 and no one's going to be thinking much of it, really.
I do agree, obviously. Nothing at 2. I think it did something, because BA was still running it.
Actually, well, not all builds were. I saw some builds just running the standard Ageki, Foolish, and Twin Twisters. Yeah, you could argue, obviously, Allure 2 is good in BA, but I would run it if I was running BA.
Because it's just half more cards.
Yeah, that obviously, even if you do banish 1, you've got your Phantom Knights as well, so you just bring back Levier. So yeah, exactly. Allure 3 is going to be interesting, but at the same time, I didn't really think much of it. Again, it's just like the OCG, they got 3 Allure as well.
What about Gold Sarcophagus at 3? I don't think this is relevant at all. Like, some people have been talking about like Shiranui and stuff, but I just don't see it as game breaking or meta defining.
It's not it's not at all. It's just a yo-yo card for the band. There's like 1 minute it's doing 1, 2, 3s and vice versa. I think it's fine at 3. And you got to remember,
originally limited because, well, not originally, but
no, but yeah.
It was limited through like the Dragon Ruler format, because you could banish a Dragon Ruler from deck and get an instant search. I think that's the last time the card was actually good.
I think so.
So, yeah, like, Gold Sarcophagus, yeah, that shit could be at 3. No one gives a fuck.
It's just a bit slow now, I think, in general, because obviously you've got to remember also, if the target's no longer there, if the target is moved, then you don't get it at all. So, in terms of when you resolve it.
Graveyard.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the entire ban list. In a nutshell, I think it was a good list. I don't think it was a great or amazing or fantastic list by any means, but it was a good list. There could have definitely been a lot more that they could have done, but then at the same time, there was a lot that they could have done less, if you know what I mean. Like, they didn't have to cripple Monarchs as badly as they did. They didn't have to touch BA again and such likes.
I think my initial reaction was, because it was the first thing I saw when I woke up on the list, and honestly, overlooking it a couple of times, I was like, yeah, okay, it's done a lot of things that need to be done anyway, but at the same time, it wasn't exciting. It's just one of those things you just go, okay, fair enough, and that's it. It's just nothing more. Again, the only thing that just caught me off guard was the whole Kai's Coliseum to be banned, and the whole Maxi to 2. Not even Thunder King to 2, because I think that's fire to 2 anyway. Just more than randomly just dropping 1 Maxi out of the game. But
if anything, I'm just impressed that Konami actually did something that was relevant to the format, instead of giving us one of those wishy-washy fucking ban lists that do next to nothing.
Yeah, that is true. I think also, in regards to what's going to happen going forward, it's quite clear. Obviously, there's going to be certain decks that are going to do well to start with, but you got to remember, ABC comes out October, so that's going to be a huge format changing deck. Well, I reckon it's going to change the format quite a lot.
System down, mate. System down's going to become such an MVP.
It's just the Kaijus. The Kaijus are going to. I think it's going to be like I said to you earlier. I think the Kaiju package could be an option for this format, depending on how the way it goes. And I think Winter Cherry is going to be a key card, because obviously Dante.
Winter Cherry is going to be so fucking amazing. Like, banish them Dantes, banish them ABC Dragons.
And even you can even side it in against Blue Eye Spirit if you have one going spare.
Exactly.
It's going to be one of those sort of... Basically, there's going to be at least one deck in the format where it doesn't use the extra deck, but yet can afford to run a Winter Cherry target deck, extra deck. So...
Well, everyone's
It's
going
gonna.
to have a Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon going spare as of like next week when the Megatins come out.
It depends on the values really, because Spirit is still quite a strong price at the moment.
It's about 15 quid.
It went up recently.
No, I looked at it today. It's about 14, 15
Even
pounds.
even the Sages have gone up as well.
Yeah, I mean the rest of the Shiny Victory stuff will go up because obviously that's not going to get reprinted till next year. But Spirit Dragon is an ultra rare promo in the tin, so like I'd suggest to people, anyone watching this, get rid of them now because the price is going to fall out the arse of the card when the ultra rare promo comes out next week.
Even wow, someone on eBay is even trying to get £8 to £10 pre-orders for the Ultra.
Good luck, have fun.
I'll just buy the tin, thanks mate.
Yeah, because you get the promo plus all the other promos.
Yep.
Plus like 3 packs of mega packs.
Yeah.
I mean, like I made good money off the previous Megatins last year. With like selling Nodens, selling Majesty's Fiends, and things like that. Selling Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon, because that hadn't had a reprint until we got the structure deck, which put it as a common. Like there was a lot of good promos that I was just able to shift to make like the odds £2, £3, £4, and then the stuff actually in the mega packs that I sold as well. But that's a discussion for another video.
Yeah, I'll definitely say I'll get at least one of each tin. To say I've tried it, and
which I shall be opening on camera and uploading for you guys when I get it. I think I'm getting it Wednesday next week.
Oh, sweet.
So yeah, keep your eyes peeled for my case opening. And it's good night from me. It's good night from him. Good night.
Bye.